What is going on, Bearcat? Sam Houston Sports Talk pod number 47, coming to you live. Well, not really live. That's kind of a weird play on words I just did there, but either way, coming to you, Colin Neal. Luke Scott won't be able to join me this pod. He is busy. I'm also busy, which is why I'm recording this pod at 11:05 p.m. Central Time, south of Houston, Texas, down I-45. I was going to record this earlier, folks, but thankfully I decided against that because, wow, some breaking news broke about a few hours ago at the time of recording this. We'll get to that in just a little bit, but we're also going to, and y'all should probably already know what the breaking news is, but we're also going to recap softball. They had a big weekend, sweeping the Kennesaw State Owls, moving to 6-3 in the Conference USA play. And we got baseball. They dropped a series against La Tech to begin the Conference USA play, and some other news throughout Bearcat athletics. So, yeah. But let's go ahead and get the breaking news out of the way, folks. I don't currently have a breaking news sounder yet on my soundboard, but when I find one, I'm going to use it eventually. But, I mean, this is breaking news, like I said just a few hours ago, looking at the tweets and all that. Of course, there could be more to come, but this is the two biggest names hitting the transfer portal for Sam Houston men's basketball, as CUSA Sakho and Lamar Wilkerson have both entered the transfer portal. It was reported by Tobias Bass around 7 o'clock-ish or so. Can't see the exact time of The Athletic for college basketball. CUSA Sakho, he reported, was entering the transfer portal. Of course, Sakho averaged 7.6 points per game, 6.4 rebounds per game, and 1.4 blocks per game. Just an athletic freak, you could say, because, man, the lobs that he got, the dunks he made, the blocks, like, he was just freakishly athletic. Transfer from Utah State, competed in that tough conference. Coach Mudge and his coaching staff brought him over this past offseason before this season. He did pretty well in the conference tournament game. Just kind of inconsistent at times, but whenever he was on, and he was hard to stop, and he was always fired up, and he played the game really well. But he will be heading off to the portal using that additional year of eligibility, as we discussed plenty of times on the pod when it comes to that Diego Pavia ruling. It was going to extend to all sports, and it extended to NCAA men's and women's basketball a few weeks ago when that statement came out. So Sakho's going to use that extra year of eligibility. Don't know what he's going to do with it. Again, he could come back. Who knows? Only time will tell. Lamar Wilkerson, though, obviously the biggest news that came across Sam Houston Athletics on X/Twitter, whichever one you want to call it. It was also reported by Tobias Bass that Lamar Wilkerson would be entering the transfer portal, obviously averaging 20.4 points per game, 4 rebounds per game, 2 assists per game. I tweeted it out on the Sam Houston Sports Talk Twitter account, and if you haven't already followed that, be sure you do. Closing in on 900 followers. Really appreciate the support that we've been getting recently. But yeah, like I said, there it is. Lamar Wilkerson now entering the transfer portal. I mean, but it felt like it was pretty obvious because of the year that he had, how he shot from three. This is the third time that Lamar Wilkerson has entered the transfer portal, and both times he's come back. But it feels like third time is in more kind of another way, not really, but a charm that he might find a new home, get some of that NIL money. And me and Luke have discussed this. Like, we don't blame him. We absolutely do not blame Lamar Wilkerson for going somewhere to earn a bag and try to find a way to boost his draft stock in the NBA. And I'm probably going to save the more talk about this kind of thing when Luke is able to jump on whenever he's not busy. But the thing is, if Lamar Wilkerson leaves, what guarantee does he have? Is he gonna have playing time? That's what I'm worried about personally when it comes to Lamar, because I think Lamar can go to the NBA based off his shooting ability alone. I think everything else, I think his defense is very underrated. I think the way he plays the game is just understated. He works really hard on and off the court. But if you want me to like say what makes him go in the NBA, it's his shoot. I could just only say his shooting ability, and I think that could be backed up. There's been NBA scouts that have been looking at him at at Bernard G. Johnson Coliseum and at other arenas, just like at Kennesaw State, when it was reported that there were NBA scouts there as well. I'm just mainly worried about Lamar getting the playing time he needs in order to boost his NBA draft stock, whatever is there. I can't tell you what his draft stock is like. I'm not an NBA draft evaluator. I don't know anything about that stuff, but I will say but playing time is going to be huge for him if he wants to go to the NBA, which like I said, I think he can, but that's going to be big. Again, he can opt out. He can come back if he wants. It's up to him. It's made very clear that he is going to go use his final year of eligibility, or maybe not, because then a short time later, Rob Douster, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, of the Field of 68, which I recommend, very good media outlet when it comes to college basketball, very good follow. I recommend it. He reports that Lamar Wilkerson's agents from Saros Partners told them that Wilkerson not only will be entering the transfer portal, but also declaring for the NBA draft. So that's interesting. I didn't think he would do that, but I guess you can't really. I mean, he can if he wants to. It doesn't mean that he's actually going to go to the NBA draft. He can opt out of it if he wants to, of course. But at the end of but when it comes to this now, and I'll wrap it up right here because I kind of want to say the rest of the talk for when Luke comes on because I want to hear his thoughts. But if I were to say right now, it's all up to Lamar Wilkerson at this point what he wants to do. He's arguably one of the greatest basketball players to come through Sam Houston men's basketball. There's no doubt. He broke so many records, accomplished so much, especially this past season. But right now, no pun intended, the ball is in his court right now with what he wants to do. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But we're going to step aside and take a break. When we come back, we'll recap Sam Houston Bearcat softball. A huge sweep over the weekend, a big one. As a matter of fact, we got some audio sound bites from head coach Garrett Volish when we come back right after this here on Sam Houston Sports Talk. Keep it locked in right here, Bearcats. Stay tuned.
Called strike 3. And Kendall Daniel gets the save and secures the weekend series sweep against the Kennesaw State Owls. The Bearcats beating the Owls 3-1.
Barry Beeson on the call for the Bearcats Sports Network. The final call of Kendall Daniel getting the called strike, looking to end the third game of the series and securing, as you heard him right here, the series sweep over the Kennesaw State Owls. Here was head coach Garrett Volish on his thoughts after the game. And if you have not seen the video on Twitter, folks, I'll probably just post it on YouTube, the full interview, because it is one of the funniest things I've ever done. Funniest post-game interview I've ever done, I should rather say. It was just funny. You could hear in the background the laughter, but basically for those, this is just going to be audio only, obviously. But the Sam Houston Bearcat softball players were putting sweepers on head coach Garrett Volish. They put a stretch band around his neck. They put cones. At first, it was a glove that Brody Quillen put on his head, but then he, pushed that off with his head, and then it's just the Bearcat players just doing some shenanigans in the background. It's awesome. But here's head coach Garrett Volish after the game.
I think it's confidence that's growing, and mainly just this team really understanding that they've had the ability all year long. It's believing in the process, that things are not going to go well in this game. It's a game of failure, and there's going to be times where things don't come as easily, and it's much more difficult to come by hits, to come by strikes even, maybe even when your strength is being a good defender and things don't seem to be bouncing your way. It's part of this game. It's part of building up adversity and resiliency. And so this team has done a much better job of handling those things lately. And I think that they're just starting to play a little bit more free, which is something we've challenged them to do, but really just a testament to them trusting each other and believing in each other.
You heard it from the man himself, Garrett Volish. Let's go ahead and recap the first two games real quick before we get into that third game, because that third game was kind of huge. Kind of some context. I got some audio on that. for that third game. But just go over real quick the previous two games. Game 1, the Bearcats won 7-0. Amy Apke's 6 scoreless innings got the win. Allowed 4 hits, 5 walks, struck out 5 batters. Bella Perez, who's been absolutely amazing. Y'all saw the tweet already by how she's been performing at the plate. We get to that. I'll actually tell you all the numbers real quick. But for her in this game, 2 for 3, 3 RBI, 2-run home run in the third inning. Elia Hebel, 2 for 3, 2 RBI. Grader and Seville got an RBI each. It was really not close at all. I mean, it was just pure domination by the Bearcats in game 1 of that series. Let's see if I can find that tweet I did about Bella Perez. It's right over here somewhere. There it is. 32 games this season for Bella Perez, hitting 293, 398 on base percentage, 587 slugging, 985 OPS, 7 homers, 21 ribeyes. That's a good callback if you know what I mean. For those listening, if you know, you know. 4 walks, 5 strikeouts, 33% caught stealing. She's caught runner stealing, only 3 pass balls and 1 error behind the plate. The transfer from Louisiana has been absolutely stellar. Got another player highlight, though. Got a few more. We'll get to that in a second. Game 2 is an 8-3 win. Owls were getting to Abigail Young with 8 hits off of her, down 3-2. Heading to the bottom of the 5th inning, the Bearcats were. So the Owls actually had a chance to pull this thing off. But then the offense for the Bearcats scored 6 unanswered runs. Quinlan went 2 for 4 with 3 RBI. Perez 1 for 3, solo homer. And it was a lot of base running craziness that went on later in that game that got lots of errors that the Bearcats were able to take advantage of and cross home plate. Kendall Daniel got the win, scoreless 2 2/3 innings pitched, allowed just 1 hit, no walks, 4 strikeouts, and she would need to have her services called upon again in the third game. A very close game, but the Bearcats led pretty much the whole way in this one. They didn't give up the lead, especially with Jenny Robeson. 3 for 3, 2 RBI, 2-run homer in the first inning to get things going, and then Kennesaw State got a run back, and then got a run back later on that game. But before that, Hobbs stole third, scored on a throwing error by the catcher in the 4th inning. And Tiffany Sanchez, impressive freshman. She's been 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, which was earned, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. But it was Kendall Daniel that would get the save for this one, as she threw, 2 scoreless innings, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Got into trouble late in the game. She lost control for a bit. She lost feel. And then Garrett Volish went out in the circle. She had runners on first and second, if I remember correctly. And Garrett Volish, and she threw the first pitch ball to begin that last at bat of the game. And this is what head coach Garrett Volish said when I asked him what he told Daniel when he had that circle visit.
Just to trust her stuff. I mean, I think that, when you get in those moments, I don't think the zone necessarily changes. I just think that strikes seem harder to come by. And so I felt like she was hitting good spots still, and she was doing a good job. And I just told her to trust herself and just, that we were still in a good spot. We're 1 out away. And so just trying to give her a second to breathe.
And she still had some issues. She worked the count full. It was a great battle, but ultimately she came out on top, called strikeout, looking on the Owl hitter. I can't remember her name. Apologies. But either way, Kendall Daniel secured the save in 13 appearances for the sophomore transfer from Tarleton. 43 innings pitched, 2.60 ERA, 1.14 whip, 28 strikeouts to 13 walks, 226 opponent batting average. This is kind of the big stat here, 0 wild pitches. So she can control really well, and it also helps when you have a stalwart in the backstop in Bella Perez. 3 complete games, 1 save, and two-way player much. I mean, she has a batting line of 267, 522, 400 slugging percentage, and 15 ABs. That's a 922 OPS, 7 walks, 2 strikeouts. I'm sure she won't be a full-time two-way player, but you never know. I mean, she's getting on base. A 52.2% on base percentage is pretty good. I will say so myself. But for her performances over the past week has earned her Conference USA Pitcher of the Week. Let's see if I can find that tweet. There it is. 10 2/3 innings scoreless, 13 strikeouts to just 2 walks, allowed just 6 hits, and of course got the save against Kennesaw State to complete the series sweep. That series sweep moves Sam Houston to 17-15 overall, 6-3 in Conference USA play. And it is very important for the Bearcats to get a sweep early in the season, get some confidence building up, and Garrett Wallish seemed to agree.
Well, I think it's huge. I mean, from a standing standpoint, it's early on. You can't get too wrapped up into that. I think that you take 3 games and get a 3-game advantage over the weekend. If you go 2-1, you only get a 1-game advantage over the weekend. So it really allows you to maybe overcome some things, where maybe you feel like you should have swept opening weekend, or you felt like you should have won 2 out of 3 game weekend 2, to kind of get some of those. And so I know every game is going to be tough. Kennesaw's been super competitive. They just have been on the wrong side of things too often. And that's happened to us sometimes too. It happened to us a lot last year, where we were crazy competitive and just on the wrong side of stuff. So I feel like that it's a momentum builder. And every road weekend is a big one for us moving forward. New Mexico State does a great job. And so that's kind of where we shift our sights to, and got to figure out a way to go over there and win a series.
So you heard from him. They go on to New Mexico State. It's going to be Friday to Sunday, of course. Friday, 7 p.m. Central Time. Saturday, 4 p.m. Central Time. Sunday, 11 a.m. Central Time. No ESPN Plus stream for those, unfortunately, because I would have definitely loved to be tuning in. But before that, there is a game you will tune in, and it's going to be a big one. Believe last time I checked, number 5 in the country. I believe they're up more because they did get a big series sweep against the number 24 team in the country. Texas A&M Aggies. The Bearcats will go on over to CSTAT, 6 p.m. Central Time on ESPN Plus, so you can watch it, stream it. No information on who's starting. They usually decide that stuff whenever the game is pretty close. Usually the day of course, is what I'm trying to get to. But one last player I want to highlight is Jenny Robeson. I mentioned that she hit that 2-run homer, 3 for 3, 2 RBI on Sunday in 27 games, batting .386, .476, .643, and 1,119 OPS, 1.119. You heard that correctly. 14 RBIs, 4 homers, 11 walks to 6 strikeouts. She's been terrific. She's been underrated. So is Brody Quinlan. She's been pretty damn good as well, I should say. But overall, just to kind of end it off here, let's take a look at the standings. Liberty, of course, 8-0 in conference play. They sit in first place. They've been really good this year, 27-6 overall, already closing on 30 wins. FIU, La Tech are tied for second place, 7-2, and then the Bearcats right behind them at 6-3. So the Bearcats in pretty comfortable position right now. Then you got New Mexico State right behind them, 5-4. So this is also going to be a huge series that the Bearcats are going to have to take. Jack State and Middle Tennessee, Western Kentucky, UTEP, and then Kennesaw State round up the standings. But the big deal is really just getting this series sweep against Kennesaw State, who are 0-9, by the way. So the Bearcats, they did their job. They swept them. They swept the team that's at the bottom of the league right now. And now they're going against the Aggies, who are right behind them in the standings. If they can take this series, I'm pretty confident in saying that they definitely will make the Conference USA tournament. I don't know what is going to be like this year. I don't know what the standards are. I haven't seen anything. It was revealed pretty late last year that publicly wise how it worked, who was entering the Conference USA tournament. So for softball, rather, because every single team in baseball made it. I have my own opinions about that, but whatever. But to end it off here is a Garrett Wallish about how he will keep the good vibes going, and we'll wrap up this segment.
I'll just continuing to show up every day and understand that every day is a new day, every inning's a new inning, and not getting too excited about something that was really positive, and not getting too low about something that feels negative. So as long as I think we're mature in that way, maybe don't trust it all the way and just need to do that a little bit better as we get into this season and take it week by week.
Well, maybe not too mature to a point, I guess, as we can see on you.
I think it's a sign of maturity and not showing any fear when you can mess with your head coach a little bit.
There you go. Thank you, Coach.
All right.
The vibes are immaculate, is what I will say. But give Sam Houston softball a lot of credit. They have definitely improved as the season has gone on. There's still a long way to go, but personally for me, I'm pretty confident that they can have a successful year. It's great to see that program has success, especially over the last few years where it's been weird, especially since the 2019 regional appearance they had when they won the Southland Conference tournament and they beat Texas. It's nice really to see this program have success right now, and I'm all for it. I'm ready to see what else they can do this for the rest of the season, I should say. All right, that wraps up that segment. When we come back, we will talk baseball. They drop a 3-game series against the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs to begin Conference USA play. We have some audio from head coach Jay Sirianni. I have my thoughts on it when we come back here on Sam Houston Sports Talk. Keep it locked in right here, Bearcats.
La Tech trying to survive here in the bottom of the 9th. They've led the whole way. 2 out in the 2-2. Called strike 3 and the ball game is over. So La Tech survives in this one to win it 9-7 after the Bearcats are able to rally back and get the winning run to the dish, but that is all they were able to get here in the bottom of the 9th. And the Bulldogs take the Conference USA Series opener 9-7.
Carlos Zimmerman, the Z-Man, on the call on the Bearcat Sports Network, calling that final game of the 3-game series this past Sunday. Let's go ahead and recap real quick the first 2 games because that was the rubber match right there, folks. If that was the game that the Bearcats desperately needed to get, was that one on Sunday. I'll explain why in just a few moments, but game 1 was an absolute classic. It was a great game. I got to call that game on ESPN Plus. Thank you to the Sam Houston Athletics media department over there for letting me call that game on ESPN Plus. It was a highly offensive game to begin that one. Just back and forth, but ultimately ended in a Sam Houston loss 6-5. Michael Ballard just making a great play out there. Like, gotta give him credit. Gotta give him absolute credit for making that great play to get nailed the tying run in Martinez at third to make it 2 outs, and then Frandon flew out later on in that inning. To end it. But some stat lines I want to highlight real quick. Noah Kendrick, 3 2/3. Scoreless innings pitch. He's been pitching amazing. 1 hit, 1 strikeout, no walks allowed. He did all that on 33 pitches. That's according to the box score. That could be wrong. I could have read it wrong. I could be blind. Who knows? Whatever. He's been pitching amazing is basically what I'm getting at. Jace Martinez, 1 for 3, 2 walks, 1 RBI. Addison Smith, 1 for 4, 2 RBI. Had that 2 RBI single in the first inning that gave the Cats the lead early. Grant Nodelman, solo homer, the first home run of his Bearcat career. That regained the Cats lead in the 3rd inning after La Tech got back in the lead. He went 2 for 3, absolute on-base machine. Then Marshall Hale, he had a 2-out pinch hit RBI double that made it 6-5 in the 8th inning. He got the Bearcats within a run. Just unfortunately, Bearcats couldn't get it going. But in game 2, they were able to get the victory 7-4. Sam Houston scored 5 unanswered runs to begin that game. First inning, you had Martinez scoring on a pass ball, Frandon with a 2 RBI single, and then Marthel-Johnny with an RBI double that definitely should have probably been caught by the left fielder, but still goes as on the double and an RBI in the score column. Then Martinez scored on a stolen base to third and a throwing error by the catcher. That was just base running shenanigans right there for Jace Martinez. La Tech would make it 5-3 at one point, but Martinez hit his 2nd homer of the season, making it 7-3. At that point, he played 18 games after this game was over, the 2nd game. So right now, 19 games. In 19 games, he already has 2 homers. He played 57 games last year in his freshman year, did not hit a single home run, and he already has 2. If he starts to develop some pop along with that discipline at the plate with his eye, he's going to be dangerous not just this year, but also next year and the year after, of course. Never know if he does stay or not, but man, he's really, really good. I like him a lot. But Danny Valadez closed it out, 2 innings, 1 earned run, and 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. But the big story here, Ryan Peterson, he had the start on Saturday. Devin Bennett had the start on Friday. But head coach Jay Sirianni making the move, in my opinion, a great move to put Ryan Peterson, the sophomore from Shiner, Texas, in the Saturday slot. He went 7 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts on 107 pitches, a quality start, and a win. He finally got a win. He started the season 0-5. I mean, I don't really care about win-loss that much. It's just a stat to read on there. So, but a good win for the Cats on Saturday. But like I said, losing 9-7. Starter Felix Schley got taken out after an inning plus. He was wild to begin the game. Sirianni went to Garrett Bauman later on. We'll have that. Bulldogs led 7-1 heading to the bottom of the 5th. Cats then made it 7-4. Latte then scored 2 more runs, making it 9-4 going into the 9th. And then Martinez, Brown, and Frandon had RBI singles to make it 9-7, but Sam Houston fell short. Brown had a good game, though, 2 for 5 with 2 RBI. Marthel Johnny, really great game, 2 for 2, 2 walks, 1 RBI. Martinez, Autry, Frandon had an RBI each. Here is head coach Jay Sirianni after the game. The audio for Jay Sirianni comes from Sunday after the Sunday game, comes and provided by Colton Foster, our good friend from the Huntsville Item.
Well, I mean, we don't get off to a good start at the front end of the game, and it's hard to play from behind even when the conditions are right to be offensive. We just, again, when we play from behind, we're not very good. And, tip your hat, their starter did a pretty good job against us.
Forgot how short that was, but yeah, their starter, Brooks Roberson, disgusting changeup he had. That was one of the most disgusting changeups from a freshman pitcher I've ever seen. He's going to be hard to stop, go up against rather in the next few years. Again, if he decides that, it's weird. It's weird. College athletics is just so freaking wild these days. And personal thought, I thought that Sirianni could have start Garrett Bauman, and he already had Bauman warming up in the bullpen 2 batters into the game. And Bauman did start against Houston in that rubber match at Sugarland to take the Don Sanders Cup for the first time since 2018. But I guess he wanted to try to go with Schlett as long as he could. It just unfortunately didn't work out, and here is Sirianni on Garrett Bauman's performance.
Really, just no command. I mean, we didn't get ahead of 5 hitters.
I'm sorry, this is Felix Schlett's performance. Excuse me.
Really, just no command. I mean, we didn't get ahead of 5 hitters, and that type of lineup, that kind of experience, you don't have a chance to work your way back into it. And it's Sunday. I mean, there's going to be runs scored, but you got to minimize with the freebies and that kind of thing.
Yeah, he talked a little bit about not Valadez. I'm all over the place. 11:34 p.m. Central Time. But talked a little bit about Schley giving the free passes to begin, and that's just kind of it is what it is. You give free passes, it's most likely going to come back and bite you. Here is the one, though, on Garrett Bauman I was looking for.
He did all right. I mean, it was, he hung at 0 there to give us a chance, but, by that point, we were kind of in a bind. Garrett's thrown a lot for us. We're just still trying to figure out what role is probably best for him. I mean, he started, but, we just make too many mistakes in the middle of the plate as a pitching staff right now, and good hitters are going to make you pay.
Yeah, I mean, he's exactly right. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, I'm sure people would take his word about baseball more than anyone would mine. But yeah, and here's this one last piece of audio I want to play from Sirianni. I thought this was pretty important for the rest of the way, talking about the rest of the season.
Well, no matter what, I mean, you're getting better in this thing. You just got to try to keep the mindset right that we're a work in progress from the word go, and we know that. But the big key here is that we just keep chugging. I mean, we still got 24 more games in conference. It's a 27-game war, and you just got to figure out ways to win one of them at a time.
Yeah, it is a war. It's a long season, and it's unforgiving. It's once conference tournament comes by, it's like, whatever position you are is how you do in the regular season. And right now, I think the Bearcats will make the Conference USA tournament. I think every team makes the Conference USA tournament. But someone fact check me on that. Again, it's kind of what I'm going based off of last year. It's still early though. Looking at the standings real quick here for Conference USA, of course, you got no one got swept either way across conference play. So no one's undefeated after the first weekend. Dallas Baptist 2-1 alongside FIU, La Tech, New Mexico State, Kennesaw State. All those are 2-1. Kennesaw State, by the way, getting a big series against Western Kentucky. That's huge. And then you got Western Kentucky, Liberty, Jack State, Middle Tennessee, and Sam Houston all at 1 and 2. So, of course, standings don't matter. Just kind of reading that. I'm going to read those out every week as we recap the weekend with baseball and softball. Yeah. Right now that's where baseball is. They're getting there. I think they're getting back. Not like last 2 years, like offense was really good, especially 2023. It was really good. But this year's just weird, folks. We talked about it. I said that 500 was going to be a successful year. They're getting to a point where they could finish 500. It's just going to be, again, weird. I mean, even if they finish a few games below it, it is what it is at this point. I kind of have this funny theory that they could end up like 2023 Tulane. For those that don't know, they win 19 games, and they got into the Baton Rouge Regional, the same regional as Sam Houston, who Sam Houston ultimately beat to eliminate to get their one and only win at the Baton Rouge Regional that year in 2023. But besides the point, still a long season ahead. As head coach Jay Sirianni said, it's a war. Patience. No one's going to get fired, okay? Let's just make that clear. No one's going to get fired. It's kind of getting to a point for me personally. It's kind of getting a little ridiculous seeing it every week. But what can you do, you know? Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I'm giving my opinion. Nobody's going to get fired. Let's stop that talk. I would stop that talk. This is a year of silver linings. Let's just take it out how it is and then hope they kick ass next year. But right now, my mindset's not on next year. My mindset's on now. That's just a kind of another thought process I've had with this team. But I think they'll be fine. We're just gonna have to take it for what it is and support. Damn it, support the Bearcats. Like, no matter what, in my opinion, right now, support them. They need it. And again, a long season ahead. Also forgot to mention that baseball will be at Western Kentucky Friday to Sunday, all on ESPN Plus, 6 p.m. Central Time Friday, 4 p.m. Central Time Sunday, 1 p.m. Central Time Sunday. And they'll be up next on Tuesday at number 8 Texas, 6:30 p.m. Central Time on ESPN Plus. All right, we'll wrap it up with one last segment on Sam Houston Sports Talk Pod 47. Get you caught up with news all around Sam Houston athletics, including some bowling, women's tennis, and more. Right after this, keep it locked in right here, Bearcast. This is Sam Houston Sports Talk. All right, final segment here on Sam Houston Sports Talk Pod 47. Colin Neal here. Let's do this rapid fire. First with men's basketball, 6'1", combo guard Noah Benny from Fort Bend Christian Academy has committed to Sam Houston. Women's tennis Cats split matches between La Tech and LSU Shreveport. They lost to La Tech 4-0, and they beat LSU Shreveport 7-0. They're 5-7 on the season, but have yet to win a conference game. In the sense, it's kind of a weird way to put it, but whatever. They're 0-3. Women's bowling, they bow out of the Conference USA tournament in the semifinals to eventual champions Wichita State Shockers in their first year in the Conference USA. Denise Blankenzy was named to all-tournament team. Cats now await Wednesday, 3 p.m. Central Time, when the NCAA Bowling Selection Show airs to see if they get in. And if they do get in, where do they go? Moving on to golf real quick. Women's golf, they are currently in Hawaii for the Dr. Thompson Invitational. First time participating. Par 72, 6,013-yard tournament. And then finally for men's golf, freshman Ethan, and I hope to God I'm pronouncing this right on the first go, because I could not find any pronunciation guide anywhere for this. Ethan Dufresne. And if I mispronounce it, I am terribly sorry. But I want to shout you out anyway, because you Dufresne were named Conference USA Male Golfer of the Week after winning first collegiate tournament at All-American Intercollegiate Tournament in Houston, and finished 6 under par, 69, 73, 68. He shot in those 3 rounds respectively. Team, however, finished 8th out of 16th place, 18 over par as a team. But shout out to the freshman for getting named Conference USA Male Golfer of the Week and winning the individual tournament at Houston. So they'll be off for just a little bit. But that will wrap things up here on Sam Houston Sports Talk. Try to keep it locked in. Follow us on all of our social medias. Keep it going. Support your Bearcats. If you can show up, and show out. Even your students. Hey, students. The tickets are free. This is what I'm trying to get to. But anyway, this has been Sam Houston Sports Talk. I am Colin Neal. We'll be back on Friday. We got big pod coming up. Special guest coming on. How about you drop us a follow as well on X/Twitter. Follow us on Instagram and on Facebook. But for now, that'll do it. As always, eat 'em up, cats. I'm Colin Neal.